problem number 3, leveraging technology. So if your current materials are primarily print-based, they may not leverage technology in a way that is unique to technology. And there may be things out there that you're already using that you might be able to use in a different way, or there may be things you don't know about. And some of these tools have very specific and unique advantages. I talked about this briefly before, but let's take text chat, for example. So the research shows us that text chat is an excellent way for beginning language learners to communicate with each other because it's a slowed down conversation, because they are typing back and forth with each other rather than speaking. The conversation moves much more slowly. They have time to view the incoming text, even though it's considered synchronous communication. So it's like a verbal oral conversation. It's in a written format. It just takes slightly longer to type it. It takes slightly longer to read it. And it has a written log so that learners can refer back to material that came before. They can help structure their sentences and use vocabulary that just came 2 or 3 lines before. And eye tracking research has shown that students do scroll back and plan their language when they are using text chat. And it gives them that extra second to stop and read and think and plan and write and send. That's a slowed down conversation. Takes a little bit of the panic out of what might happen when someone's just speaking really fast to you and you're trying to figure out what they said. So that's, for example, one of those unique advantages that we can leverage by using text chat. Asynchronous communication would be anything online that's not happening in real time. So that could be email, it could be a blog, it could be an asynchronous conversation. There are apps out there in which I can record myself, video myself asking questions, and it's saved within the app. And when the students log in and click, they hear me and see me asking the question. And as soon as I'm done, the camera and the microphone click on, and they get to respond and produce with the target language, and it gets logged for me to then go back and watch later on. So that type of communication creates more space for students who might be a little more shy in class, who might not always want to raise their hand or trust themselves if they don't think that their language usage is as good as some other people's in the class. It also is a more democratic use of time, because you're not in a 50-minute classroom where 20 students have to share the speaking time. That asynchronous communication can be done from home at any point in time, and each of the students can speak for as long as they want. And studies have also shown that they speak much more in that isolated and more democratic fashion. The flipped classroom provides a great opportunity to combine online learning with face-to-face learning. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with the flipped classroom, but in that format, students watch an online module of some kind before they come to class. So they get a sort of a lecture that may be online. And then when they come to class, they already have that basic piece of those pieces of information. They've got some building blocks to start with, and they come to class, and you can move right into the interaction phase because now they already know something. And rather than coming to class and sitting down and listening to people talk right away and taking up that face-to-face time with something that can really be done as well, if not better, in the online format with video, then they can use that, and that's something that we want to talk about leveraging as well. Interactive videos, which can also be used within the flipped classroom, are videos where we're embedding, for example, quizzing. So figuring out, using different apps of ways to embed quizzes into your video. Students watch a video, rather than just sitting and watching, at one point the video stops, a quiz pops up on the screen, they have to answer a multiple choice question correctly before the video will continue on. So that's a great way to keep those online materials more interactive. And then accessing that authentic culture and the authentic language is also a huge advantage, because we know that textbooks can often become outdated the day that they are printed. And everything that's going on online now is right there at our fingertips. And we can use the news, and we can use advertisements, and we can use music and film and TV and all of those great things, and communicating with native speakers. So all of those things are things to think about in putting those lessons online.